All right, so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of staying focused on your game plan. It's not unreasonable to say that as we go through planning for a movie like The Quiet Canadians and so on, we have this idea of what the scope of the film is going to be, and even have a laid out plan. As you speak with more and more people, of course, you get ideas, you get suggestions and so on, which are all well-meaning. I was watching a video the other day with Jason Blum, and he said that what often causes this sort of scope creep in our own imagination is, we have this idea for how we plan to do it, and it's a pretty solid idea. I mean, it's not fully formed and it's not perfect, and we don't actually have any guarantees that it's going to work. But what we do is because we seek input from other people, we use that input to maybe inflate our expectations about what the project is going to be. One of the things, of course, is ego. Ego plays into this. You think, okay, well, the budget should be this, but now you start talking about A-list actors and you start talking about 1,000 theater releases and so on, and these are things that creep into your brain of like, yeah, well, that would be great. It would be great to have a $100 million movie, or to be able to compete at that level. But that's not the project you're making. Even in today's landscape, movies like that are very unrealistic. They just don't happen the way that we think that they happen. And so this isn't to take away the intention of each person who gives you that kind of support and advice, because it's all welcome, and it's good to see ambition. It's good to see like big thinking, big dreaming, and so on. But there's also a semblance of, would you rather wait 5 years to potentially get to that point, or is there a plan in place where in the next in a conceivable way could you hit your target of getting this movie made in a much shorter period of time? Because ultimately the intent of it is to get the project made. Like, I would rather be making movies consistently than try to pull one out of my butt every 5 or 10 years. And that comes down to, like, in your ego, the ego basically starting to prioritize the validation of other people rather than input on how to refine the program and the plan that you have, rather than throwing it out because it doesn't fit sort of a traditional model. And then there's also, of course, the idea of shiny object syndrome, where you are getting distracted. You get pulled from one direction to the other because you look and you go like, oh, I think we should go this way. And then someone says, oh, well, I have a thought. And you go, oh, that might be a better way. And you kind of you pull yourself in various different directions. And you think, well, the action plan that you had tomorrow then gets sidetracked because maybe you should wait a week and do something a little bit differently. And then, of course, after a week, you go, well, maybe I should have done it this way. And it's this idea that the allure of something new is always a much bigger attraction than just sticking to your plan and doing the work day in and day out. If the work was, I'm going to work on increasing the audience for the film, I'm going to work on refining the script for the film to make it tighter, to make it easier, to make it better, more producible. But then you get sidetracked by the idea that, well, what if we hired another writer to come in and rewrite the script, and we raised, tens of thousands of dollars to have a rewrite of the script? Well, that would definitely be a lot easier. But the chance of us actually, putting that money together and actually raising the money and finding a writer who can do that rewrite for us in a timely fashion is perhaps make us wait 6 months to get to a point where we could have just focused on doing what we needed to do to take steps forward in the script revision, or in a pitch deck, or in just making phone calls and outreach and so on to various stakeholders, and seeing if there's generating interest in the project that we have before us. And then, of course, there's the idea of comparison. We're always looking for like, well, what did the other movie do, or what did this project do, or what did that project do? And I mean, I've seen like 20 business plans of 20 different movies, and they all present things in a different way. And of course, as I go through my business plan, I go, well, that looks like a good idea. And I pull from that, and I pull from this. And I'm like, well, they were successful with this, so maybe I should try that. As opposed to, again, sticking to, okay, well, this was the plan that I had. And ultimately speaking, a business plan is only as good as its clarity and its ability to tell a story. And they always say that, comparison is kind of the thief of joy. Well, comparison is also, I believe, the thief of progress sometimes. It's very easy, again, also to be derailed because you see someone who's, 5 levels up from you and you go, well, it's going to take forever to get to that point. And it can derail your confidence and your motivation to the point where you might not even take that next step forward. Whereas if you can look at something or a project or something like that that's maybe just slightly above where your expectations are for this film, then that can keep you motivated. If I look at someone and go, well, this is a laid out plan of how someone put together a movie project and got it shot, edited, and out in 12 to 18 months, that's a plan I want to follow, not the plan of the person who dwelled in development for 5 years and then finally got their picture made and then went that way, because 5 years is just too long. Just to recap, and this is just, it's come up a lot because, of course, in the ideation stage, it's easy to look around for models to follow and for examples and seek out mentors and seek out advice, and all of these things can be very valuable, but you have to use them as a way of motivating you to keep moving forward, but not as a way to take you off the track that you're already on. There it is. There's my Saturday. I will see you all on Wednesday.